author opinion of Dennis Keen at the history, geography and architecture, culture and life manners of Kazakhs in the program Discovering Kazakhstan.
Salam, привет and hello. I'm Dennis Keen, and today on Discovering Kazakhstan, we will be discovering the seaside city of Aktau. Seaside city in Kazakhstan? You might have heard that this was a landlocked country with lots of desert and steppe, but Kazakhstan's best kept secret is that it has hundreds of miles of beautiful coastline along the longest lake in the world, the Caspian Sea. A modern city with an economy based on the sea's vast oil reserves. With a fascinating nuclear history, Aktau is a place that I've been wanting to visit for a long time, and I'm glad that you can join me. Aktau is famous for its proud people who love to boast about its seaside locale and insist that this is the best place on earth. I have an old friend of mine, Salamat, assalamu alaikum. Nice to see you, man. He is a lifelong resident of the city. He loves it more than anywhere else. Is it the best place in the world, Salamat?
Yeah, actually, yes.
Now, I think that if there's anybody who could show me the city, it's you. So can you show me a few places that make this place so special?
Yeah, I want you to show why Aktau is the best city in the world.
Okay, let's go check it out.
Go. We are in the center of our city. It's Ntmak Alanı, which in English it will be Unity Square.
Why Unity?
Unity because, you know, in Kazakhstan lives different nationalities and they live in a friendship.
Like Kazakhs, and Americans,
yeah, Russia.
We should all be friends.
Yeah.
It's a nice idea, and it's a beautiful park here. You can really feel like this is the center of Aktau. There's lots of construction going on around here. The city is really growing up around the square. And I can see that this is kind of a lovely place to come and walk, sit on the bench, be with your family. Thank you for bringing me here.
You're welcome.
Well, walking by, I couldn't help but notice this impressive statue of this man sitting cross-legged, broad-shouldered, his long fingers around the two-stringed instrument that Kazakhs call dombra. So this must be some kind of famous a dombra player, right?
Yeah, actually you are right. It's monument to Kazakh. It's a famous Kazakh dombra player and also his akın.
So he's kind of local poet, musician hero for Aktau. But actually, Kazakhs all around Kazakhstan know the word Kashagan, and actually this is a word that's become famous all around the world because in honor of him, they named an oil field the Kashagan oil field. And this was the largest discovery of oil in the last 40 years.
Yes.
So actually, I think people are going to remember this man's name and his works for years to come.
Actually, the year when was Kashagan oil field opened, Kashagan dombra player celebrate his 150 years birthday.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's not still with us though, right?
Of course.
But the anniversary of his birthday.
Yes.
Well, what a special moment, I mean, for Kazakhstan to celebrate the anniversary of this famous dombra player, at the same time kind of start this new chapter in the history of this country when this oil industry is really going to start developing. So you guys really like your dombra players, your dombra shë. Here's another statue.
Yes, he is very famous, not only in our region, but also in Kazakhstan. His name is Kurmangazi.
Kurmangazi? Sure, I know him.
Yeah.
I play a little bit of dombra, this instrument that he's got, and I like Kurmangazi's songs more than any other, actually, because he plays in this very special style, very soft, very relaxing, and he was from this region.
He was from the west of Kazakhstan.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but one thing I don't really get is that he's up there on a horse.
Yes.
Why? Is he a warrior too?
No. I want to say that he was a wandering player of dombra.
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
He didn't live in one place. He always were in the way from one place to another.
Right. So there was this kind of tradition to ride the horse from kind of yurt camp to yurt camp, from village to village, playing his songs, entertaining different people. I also like his kind of posture there. He's like, look at this, hey, no hands. It's just me and the Dombra. Hey everybody, I've come to town.
Yeah, you can notice that he take a Dombra in one hand to show us that his weapon is Dombra.
It's like his weapon.
Yes.
He can beat people over the head with his Dombra.
Yes, with Dombra.
Music is very powerful. Quite a triumphal entrance to the park. This is like some kind of arch from Paris.
Paris. It looks like Paris.
But it's like the Kazakh style because you have this Kazakh ornament on the side, right?
Yeah, as you see, we have traditional ornaments on this arch.
So these ones, right, are what they call the Koshkar Muse.
Koshkar Muse?
Ram's horn.
Yeah, it look like Koshkar Muse.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool, this little ornament that's taken from nature, put right here on this European style arch, telling us that now we are in Akbota Park.
Yes.
Now, my Kazakh's not that good, but I know that Akh means white.
White, yes.
Bota means little camel.
Yes.
So it's little white camel park.
You are right, yes. Here was a lot of rides. It was like ride park here.
Oh, like at an amusement park before.
Yes.
And we can see that there's still a Ferris wheel over here.
Yeah, but this pier wheel it's a new one.
Oh, okay.
It was opened maybe a week or 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Just for us.
Yes, just for you. I think they know that you will come and they open it.
It's very nice.
Yes. It's you can say it's a central enter to the park.
Okay.
From the city. And I can tell you a very interesting story about this park. Maybe 2 years ago, a camel.
Yeah.
It walked across the city, come here, and get born.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wait, so the camel walked across, it was looking for Akbota Park, and it said, okay, this is my white camel park.
Yeah.
Came here, and it gave birth
Yes.
to a baby camel.
Yes.
That's beautiful. So this is Solomon's very first time on a Ferris wheel in his life. So Solomon, I want to know what do you feel right now?
It's amazing.
It's cool, huh?
Yes, it's cool. And it's windy.
It's windy up here, but we have this gorgeous view out over the Caspian Sea here. You can see the rocks and the water. From here we can see the lighthouse. Now, if we look over this way, we have a beautiful view over the city of Akhtau. And it's so neat and tidy. The streets are straight and perfectly clean. Everything is kind of full of this modernist architecture. Beautiful. Excuse me. Come on. Hey. Oh. So this is what it must have felt like to be Christopher Columbus discovering Akhtau.
Yeah.
That's how it happened, right?
Yes. It looked like you are Christopher Columbus and just opened the Akhtau. Actual Akhtau is a very young city.
Yeah.
So it was founded in 1961 and it became a city in 1963. The reason why it was founded is that the Soviet Union, the government of Soviet Union, they found here uranium.
Very valuable for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the next reason that we have sea, we can create here a port.
Right.
And also we have a big resource of oil and gas.
So they thought, wow, we have this special place that has oil, it has uranium, but it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. And there's no water here, right?
Yeah, it's not water here. And
so that's why they had to make that special nuclear desalinization plant.
Yes.
And all of that is kind of, you know, thanks to that, which is actually pretty amazing city building project to just make this whole city out of nothing.
Yeah, you're actually right. We have a factory which made which take the water from the sea and make it into drinking water. Yeah.
Science. Cool.
It's the only one factory in the world. We haven't anyone else.
Very neat. So they found it as a port, and the port is still visible. You want to go take a look at the port, see if we can see it from here? Hey, kids, watch out. It's our turn. So we've got the port over there in the distance, but any good port needs a lighthouse.
Yeah,
but Oktau's lighthouse is very unusual, isn't it?
Yes, it's very unusual. It's on the top of the house.
It's right over there on top of the apartment building. Beautiful place.
Yes, the view is everything.
So this place was called Mys Milovoy.
Mys Milovoy, yeah. In English it will be Chalk Point.
Chalky Point.
Chalky Point,
because the cliffs here, I guess, are made out of chalk. Right? Out of kind of white stone.
Yeah.
And we had this gorgeous view over the city of Oktau. Across the bay, we can see the port. And now, if you look out into the Caspian Sea, you can see these tankers coming and going to Kazakhstan's one and only port. You know, this place actually really reminds me of back home in California. Because there we have the Pacific Ocean, and we have the same kind of cliffs, same kind of rocks down below, same kind of shrub. But I never expected to find that in Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is this landlocked country without much water. Most people think it's just steppe and desert. But you have this beautiful sea here, and I think if only more people in the world knew about the Caspian coast, knew about Oktau, this could be a place to come.
Actually, yeah.
Even Kazakhs, I think, have to come to Oktau. Nowadays, Kazakhs are going to Turkey or to Dubai, but this could be a major destination for people.
Oh, but we have tourists from Aktobe, from another cities of our country. I heard a lot of tourists from Atyrau.
Who come from nearby, because one thing that's hard about Kazakhstan is it's so big, right?
Yeah.
It's the 9th biggest country in the world, so if you live in Almaty like we do, it's actually really far to come, and it's not cheap. But this can be a regional tourist hub, and then eventually over time they can develop the infrastructure and make this really a place that people from all over Central Asia and even from all over the world can come to relax and enjoy the city.
So this is our regional history museum. It was founded, if I'm not mistaken, in 1975.
It definitely has that kind of retro feel here. I really like the decoration that you have on the walls here, made out of some kind of plaster. You've got like
camel
images from the petroglyphs, right? So you have like a guy on a camel, and you've got a ram. Over here, there's some archers. And look at this beautiful kind of chandelier over the top. Very kind of cool and modernist, actually. I'm really liking the vibe in here. I've been in a lot of these kind of regional history museums, but it seems like this one is really special. So, first exhibit hall is over here.
Yes.
Let's take a look. Wow, this is so neat. Look at these kind of panels that they put on the walls. Ancient kind of seashells. Some kind of fossils that they found in Mangostal. So this must be telling us about kind of the ancient history of this region. Oh, and someone you know, I love maps. And here's this amazing kind of handmade relief map showing this entire region. So do you know where we are right now?
We are somewhere here, maybe.
Yeah, so there on the sea, we can see it says Shevchenko. So that's the old name of Oktau. So we're right there on the coast of the Caspian Sea. And out here you have these high plateaus, this amazing desert landscape outside of Oktau. You can just drive out here, see these kind of beautiful rock formations. You know, when I look at this, it really looks just like America.
Yeah,
like something. Like in Utah or New Mexico, we have these same kind of beautiful kind of geological wonders.
So Denis, we also have seals in Aktau.
Seals? In Kazakhstan?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
They're so cute. Did they ever come to the beach in Aktau?
It's actually not near to the city, but
Yeah.
the outside of it, maybe 100 kilometers.
I never would have guessed that.
Yeah.
It says they're called the Caspian seal. And in Kazakh, it's called it balık.
It balık.
And tell them what that means in English.
It balık, it means like it's a dog, and balık, it's a fish.
Fish dog.
Fish dog.
The Caspian fish dog. That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, Aktau is one of those places that just constantly defies your expectations. You know, you would never expect to find such a beautiful sea, expect to find these kind of seals, such, you know, bird life and wildlife around here. It's really neat.
But in Aktau we have seals, but we have swans.
You have swans, and this
Yes.
is something that Aktau is actually pretty famous for.
Yeah. In winter you can meet them in the seashore of the city.
Are there lots of them?
Yeah, pretty
Pretty good amount?
Yes.
I mean, they're beautiful birds. And I know, like, for Kazakh people, swans are kind of important symbol too, right?
Yeah, it's like, I can say that it's a saint animal for Kazakhs.
Right.
You can't kill them.
Can't touch them. Well, who would want to? They're such beautiful creatures. So that's the wildlife section. Let's go see what else we can find.
Let's go. This is the first scientists, Soviet scientists who were discovering the Aktau, the minerals of Aktau, the resources, the natural resources of Aktau.
Uranium was the big thing they were looking for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at these old pictures, and they're living here, in camps and very basic homes, and it must have been such an adventure for them to come out here to the desert.
Yeah, I think so, because here was nothing in the 90s, 50s. It was just only steep.
Right.
Yeah, and they started to explore, to discover, and to found our city.
And so they built this city really just out of nothing, right?
Yeah.
And so here we can see how it says in the 1960s how these buildings are going up, and they built these kind of prefabricated concrete buildings, right? These very simple housing blocks.
Yes, it's a 4th, 5th, 5th micro district, I think.
7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. So, there's micro districts from 1 to 30 something, right?
33, I think now, 34 even.
So I don't know if we mentioned this, but something that's special about Aktau is how it's organized, right? Is that you have all these different neighborhoods, and every neighborhood is called a micro district, or mikrorayon in Russian.
In Russia, to mikrorayon.
And the streets don't have any names.
Yes, maybe official they have some names, but I don't even know the names of the streets.
So instead, the city kind of just grew up around these different neighborhoods, which makes it a really special place. There's nothing else like this in the rest of Kazakhstan.
After the city was founded, so the Soviet scientists created the first fast Newton reactor in the world. Here you can see it.
Wow, so I mean, that's actually groundbreaking, very historic kind of scientific work that was being done to make something like this. And it happened here in Aktau. And I was reading about this, that then they used that to make the desalination plant where they clean the water, right?
Yeah, the next one is this one.
So what I think is so neat about that is that this region kind of had a gift and a curse. The gift was this gift of uranium, this very valuable material. Yeah. Curse is that there's not very much water here, right? It was almost an inhospitable place. But they took that gift, they took the uranium, and they used it to power the desalination plant. And there was nothing like this anywhere else in the world. It was totally a crazy new experiment to take nuclear power and use this to take the salty water of the Caspian Sea to make drinking water for this new population in this new kind of boom town of Aktau. Very fascinating history in this place. So
in Soviet period, the important resource was uranium. But after, and nowadays even, the most important, the major resource is oil. Here you can see the first oil gasher, the first gas gasher.
Crazy, yeah. I imagine people would have been really excited on that day, right? Yeah. It probably made a mess, shooting oil everywhere, but they said, we're rich, finally! And the oil has totally transformed Oktau, right? If before it was a pretty small, quiet town, now there's lots of foreign companies here, lots of big new projects and investments. So I understand why there's this whole hole here that's dedicated to the oil industry in Kazakhstan. So here we can see what these oil workers wear on their day to work, how they have their whole camp here. Look at this, even over here. What do you think these are? They're like the gears on some kind of big drilling machine,
yes,
right? To get down into the earth to that really valuable oil. Well, without oil, these days, I think Oktau wouldn't exist. So
I think the oil gives like a second life for Oktau.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So then is here one more room, one more exposition I want to show you.
Okay.
I think you know that it's a traditional Kazakh yurt.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. And I want to say that the staff of this museum was a team who got recognition of UNESCO to make this yurt, all traditional Kazakh yurts, the World Heritage.
UNESCO World Heritage?
Yes.
That's a very big deal, and I'm actually very impressed that a small team from a small museum in Oktau could get this yurt on that list, or yurts in general, right? I mean, because these things are very impressive and they should be recognized by UNESCO, but it takes a lot of work to do that. I mean, this kind of home, is something you don't see very often anymore in Kazakhstan. In Almaty, where I live, I almost never see yurts. But I can tell that in Oktau, you're very proud,
yes,
of your traditions, right? You're proud of your traditional homes. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me, actually, that they did this kind of very important work. Beautiful. Solomon, I like the name Oktau. It's short, it's easy to remember, it's descriptive. In Kazakh, it means white mountain, describing those beautiful white chalky cliffs that the city is known for. But for a long time, it actually had a different name, right?
Yeah. If you remember, in the museum, we have seen that the city was named Shevchenko, and
right,
because of this guy, it's a monument to Taras Shevchenko.
So, which is interesting. So, for a long time, the city was actually named after a Ukrainian.
Yes.
He's the national poet of Ukraine. He was exiled here under pretty poor conditions during the Russian Empire. They say because he actually insulted the wife of the Tsar. And so he came here far away from home, but because he's such a famous poet and beloved by literature lovers all over the former Soviet Union, they gave his name to the city.
Yeah, you are right.
But then I guess around the time when you were born, in the early 1990s, they changed the name back to Oktau, right?
Back to Oktau, yeah.
Well, and that's a good decision. But the statue is here to this historic figure so that we can remember where this city came from.
So here, you can say, in the center of our city, we have an internal flame. As you know, the Second World War, it's an important part of the history of every, Kazakh city.
Very important.
Yeah. And as you noticed, it's the form of this internal flame, it's a traditional Kazakh yurt.
Right.
Yeah.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces coming over.
Pieces. Yes, this pieces is the year, it's how much year continue the war.
From 1941, 1942, 1943, 1945 to 1945.
Yeah.
Right.
And these sculptures are the mothers of that warriors who went to the war. And they're like in a sad, crying.
Right. They're kind of mourning the loss of their sons. I mean, this is really a very emotional kind of artwork here, because there in the middle, in the kind of the bosom of every woman here, is the sons that they lost. And it really makes that connection that the war didn't just affect the soldiers, it affected everybody.
Yes,
right?
everybody.
And there were so many mothers who lost their sons, right? Wives who lost their husbands. And that connection is really made clear here. And of course, in the middle of the monument, you have the eternal flame itself.
It's always burned.
Right. So they keep this on to kind of constantly show that these people will never be forgotten.
So then starting from the internal flame till this place called the Alley of Glory.
Okay.
Here you can see the picture of war, the soldiers,
right.
And on the other hand you can see the women and teenagers who were working for the victory.
Right, we see young people there working in the factory, people picking wheat. So it's kind of the same theme that we saw at the Eternal Flame, that it wasn't just men fighting who made a sacrifice, but it was the people who were actually here in Oktau. There was no war in Oktau, but Oktau was still part of the war in a really big way. And along here, there's some kind of...
the heroes of that war.
Right.
Who were born in Mangstau.
And these were some of the people who kind of got the most prestigious awards for their fighting. Right?
Yes.
For their valor.
Our last object on the Alley of Glory is MiG-21. It's one of the most popular jet during the Soviet Union.
It's very unusual for me, Salamat, to see a big kind of military airplane in the middle of a beautiful green park. In America, you would never see anything like that. And it's especially striking, actually, to see it here in Oktau, because right at the end of the park, there's that beautiful view over the sea. Yeah. And it looks as if it's kind of like taking off to go for a flight over the Caspian. What a beautiful view, Salamat. I am very envious that you get to have this view in your city. But I hear that you guys actually have a pretty beautiful boardwalk, right, along the sea?
Yeah, you are right.
Yeah? Can we go check that out?
Okay, let's go.
The most popular activity here is for kids to rent these little toy cars, and well, I couldn't just miss out on the fun, so we got these little race bikes instead. Let's go! The boardwalk is also home to the most beautiful bike path, I think, in all of Central Asia. And though I may have 4 wheels instead of 2, I think I qualify.
Oh, you know, Dennis, it's a favorite place, I think, of every citizen of Oktau. And in the period of the end of spring and the beginning of summer and all the periods of summer, it's a favorite place of all Oktau. And for me, it's the same.
I mean, I can totally understand why. So you call this place the Nabrizhnaya, which means the boardwalk. And there's definitely a special atmosphere here. You've got the seagulls flying in from the ocean, got the sound of the waves, there are kids playing and laughing. And so when you come here, what do you like to do?
Here, we like just to work, maybe just relax.
Sit with your friends,
Yeah.
watch the sea.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, you guys are lucky because in Oktau, the sun is out there to the west, right over the Caspian. And I'm sure that this place has some beautiful sunsets. Well, Salamat, though, I am still a little bummed that we didn't get to see the iconic lighthouse on the top of the apartment building. I will take this marine monument as a consolation prize. And we got to see so much else. We got to see a fascinating museum, beautiful parks. We got to learn a lot about this really special city. There's nothing else like it in Kazakhstan, and we couldn't have had a better guide, so thank you for showing us around.
My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us today on Discovering Kazakhstan. Until next time, Salbol, Waka, and goodbye.